Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. So today's video, or in this video total, hopefully we can get this whole side of the house and all of this porch roofing on. But for right now, I just want to show you what's going on with the deck. So first things first, didn't really have a good attachment point here. So one of you guys suggested one of these brackets here. So we went ahead and nailed this in, and now instead of using a bunch of 2x6s all the way down here, it's pretty much not going anywhere. This bracket is extremely thick and strong, and it's basically just made a chair now so that this can't pull down at all. I went ahead and cut some inches off of here, so that way we only got like a 16-inch cantilever from where this joist is here over to this joist. So this is only a few inches here, probably under a foot. So that's going to be very strong there. And if you're wondering why there's not a bolt right here, that's because we're going to put another ply on here. And once those plies are pinched together, it's not like this bracket here can bend out and away. Not to mention we've got 3-inch nails going through here too. And that bolt actually is not a 1/2-inch bolt. It's a 5/8-inch bolt. So extremely strong connection there. So then of course we had to match it up with that side. So like I said, you have to pry that wood off of the wall because the rubber wall sticks like glue. It tore a massive piece of the rubber wall off. So I kind of caulked the holes, put some rubber wall back on there, and we'll have to do that 2 or 3 more times to build up that thickness. And then last, to really stiffen it up, we put a cross brace on here. I put that middle joist on here. And then the last thing that I think I'm gonna do to make this be a better attachment point is somewhere in here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, put another diamond pier here down pretty much in the middle. And then that way this new beam will run extremely long instead of this like 2.5 feet here. It'll run more like 4 or 5 feet out to another diamond pier. So again, the porch will be kind of separated from the deck, just like the front of the house, but we will have a strong attachment point here. So 3 of these ply beams are all connected over the diamond pier. And then that way on this side, we're not really relying on this and this foundation at all. We're only relying on the diamond pier somewhere in here, and then going 8 to 9 to 10 feet out that way for another diamond pier that's actually going to be holding up the deck. The only thing holding up the deck on this side again is the GRK bolts going in through there. And then of course that bracket with a 5/8 bolt. And then when we do the triple ply out to here, we may do some more 1/2-inch bolts or 5/8 bolts through here, or just some more GRKs so that triple ply beam stays connected and is one. And then it looks like we got a new animal. This pretty little girl's been coming around. She is absolutely sweet. She was probably a dump cat because she is clearly an indoor-outdoor cat, but extremely sweet, not feral at all. There's probably 4 or 5 feral cats around here, 2 that are kind of friendly, and one other one that's kind of friendly, including her, but she is an absolute sweetheart. But she doesn't like to come inside the camper with the other 2 cats, but she loves coming inside the house. So I think we got a new outdoor cat around here, which Aaron has actually given me the go-ahead if we ever get money one day to go ahead and build a barn out here. So we'll have a new barn cat too, and a new barn if I can ever get the money to build one. Well, this is like day 100 of rain. It will not stop raining. Whether it rains all day long or an hour at a time, it just keeps creating a swamp. Haven't moved the lift, I think, in over a week. But what I did get done today, because I wasn't going to work on the house today because it wasn't supposed to rain. Then all of a sudden it's now 7:30 at night and now it is raining, but it was supposed to start at like noon, but whatever. On the other side, we started our shingling finally, got everything caulked and seamed, and the valley is actually being interesting. So I actually threw out the metal valley flashing. I did not like the way it was going to look. On other houses, I've never minded the look. It's always looked fine, but you got to be real intricate with all the shingle cuts so they're all going up perfectly. But the roofs are slightly off from each other. So one of the metal sides was sticking up And then as the shingles were to come in, there wouldn't be a nail long enough to go down through and get into the roof decking for what I would think be safe enough. So if it stops raining because the sun is out, we will go up there real quick and I'll show you. We're actually doing a weave pattern, which if you look on here, that is acceptable to do. So you've got two options. You can either put the metal flashing on like that, bring your shingles up, or like this one, you basically are just weaving over each other. And the only thing it really says on there is to make sure you get at least 12 inches over onto the other side. And then don't put any nails where the middle of the valley is. Don't put any nails 6 inches into the valley. So that's completely easy enough. It does waste more shingles doing the weave pattern that I've noticed, because I'm not really cutting them down. If one ends up long and it goes up the roof, it is what it is. I don't really care. But you're probably gonna waste at least a bundle or two per valley doing it that way. But I really think it's pretty when you're all said and done to look at that as it's going over. And I just think it looks a lot nicer. So I'll show you guys hopefully in a minute when we can get up there. All right, so here's where we're at. Not too many rows. I literally just got started on this an hour ago because all day today I went and got more drip edge down on there. I also had to get more ice and water shield because I did make the decision after watching Matt Reisinger's last video to just go ahead and do ice and water shield over everything. It seemed to be that was the most comments, that just go ahead and waterproof your entire roof 100% instead of an under laminate, which again, nail goes through the under laminate. It's no longer waterproof. So if the shingle fails, then you've got a leak. So we've got 2 more rolls that I bought. So I put a little strip up there today. Obviously I ran short, so we'll put a little slip up there. We'll have to put a strip there, and then we have to remember to put some zip tape up on there because now it's no longer a shingle effect, which those boards are just getting chewed up. There's some mold growth on them. As you can see, I did tape the butt joints where they come together, but that horizontal wasn't taped until I put that piece on just a little bit ago from there over to there. And then I taped that horizontal and up top. So water now can no longer get down there at all. But yeah, we're just gonna ice and water shield everything. We've already paid for the majority of it, so we might as well have a bulletproof roof underneath of these shingles. And then of course, if you can see over there, that's what I'm talking about, a weave pattern. So this roof over here was a little bit higher than this roof over here, so it was just a lot easier to slide a shingle under there, bring this one over top. But I don't know, I just think the weave pattern just looks really pretty. Once those shingles, like right in there, I can see there's a little bit of a high spot. Once the shingles relax and the sun heats these up tomorrow and all the glue sticks, I just think it looks real pretty to have it in like that instead of worrying about some metal flashing that doesn't match any of the metal down here or possibly the gutters. I have seen some people, they'll go ahead and they'll paint the metal flashing in the valley, and then they'll get like the rocks in here, like a bucket of these rocks of the same color, and they'll take it in their hand and like spread it on there. So that way you basically are painting, gluing down these little rocks onto the metal, so that way it blends in. But honestly, why wouldn't you just do the overlap like this in the first place? Again, besides wasting that much shingles that goes on there, and just have it look that way anyway. So don't know if it's legal everywhere to do an overlap like that, but everywhere where I've seen in Ohio, I've seen tons of houses, and actually a church right down the road that they have a weave pattern to where they didn't use metal valley flashing. So I think that looks really pretty. It's again a lot easier, a lot more forgiving. Again, you don't have to be an expert to get them all up there and get them all going up there till all the shingles are cut perfectly. So by doing that, it just looks real pretty, and it's a hell of a lot easier for you to do on your own. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have enough time. I think it's supposed to be sunny all day. So I'll have to take some breaks because it'll be really hot out. But hopefully we can basically go all the way up to the peak, all the way up and over until we hit over here. What scares me a little bit is how the shingles come together. If we don't go from one side of the house to the other, I'm afraid how the shingles are gonna look over here as they come together. So yeah, I'm gonna have to play that by ear. Again, if it doesn't make sense, I would like to start, like, for example, on this roof over here now, the same that I did over there, and start here and work my way this way, and then start over here and work my way this way, so that way they both meet the valley at the same time. But that's not going to be doable if we don't know where the shingles will actually end up. I may have to have some, like, almost like a common seam going up the middle, but obviously the shingles will overlap each other 6 inches as they're supposed to. But I've got a feeling, instead of having full shingles go that entire distance, that when I get this side of the roof meeting that side of the roof, as they come together, basically like at the peak of the roof up there for the porch, then I'm gonna take like a full shingle and it's gonna like overlap 12 inches. So I may have to cut shingles going all the way up from the peak all the way up to the roof, as again, they may not fall on layout if I start from one side and work towards the middle, because obviously when you do a roof, you're supposed to go from one side to the other. But I'm no expert, so I'd rather make it perfect by doing this side and this side coming together, and I'd rather have that valley perfect than what's going on up on the peak. And we can always make it work by, again, just having to special cut every single shingle for, I don't know, probably like 20 some rows as you go up until you finish off on the peak. Hey everybody, welcome back. So it's another scorcher. Didn't film anything yesterday doing the roof. Actually got a lot done on that side of the back south side of the house. And we're just trekking through the day. It's extremely hot, but it's slow going because the shingles were sitting outside, so they're all completely soaking wet. So even though it's really hot out, full sun, once you set a panel down and then you go to step on it, not only do you have loose rocks, but you have extremely slippery surface because it's wet. And this stuff almost has, I don't know, my fingers always feel like it's greasy. So a little bit slow going, so you have to be super careful and take your time. And so far, I don't think I ever said anything really about the main shingles. I said the starter shingles and the ridge cap shingles, I kind of gave my opinion about those. But these shingles aren't bad. Again, it's a very fast process because they're 42 inches long, so you're going very fast and up. The only major complaint I have them, Atlas, you guys need to get your machining on par a little bit better. You got an 1.5 inch strip in there where the tar is not supposed to stick to the under shingle, and you guys are missing that. So you got an 1.5 inch surface. You should be able to hit that and not get the tar on it. So every panel or bundle, I want to say, I'm losing at least a few shingles where you go to take it off of the one below it and the tar is sticking and you're actually just completely blowing out the shingle and ripping it apart. So Atlas, get your shingles, get your machining a little bit on center, a little bit more. I'm tired of wasting shingles. And to you professional roofers out there, how many do you guys actually lose when you're doing this, when you're going through that? Do you lose a shingle or two per bundle? Or like, did they say there's a 5% loss that's normal? Let me know what you guys think, if that's an everyday thing or I'm just being too picky. So if you notice the tractor, I am not picking these things up and carrying them one at a time all the way over here. So putting a few into the tractor bucket, bringing it around this last little dirt mound that we have, and bringing the bucket up, so when I'm standing up in the bucket, we can just gonna pull them off. But real quick, just show you where we're at now, and got my weave pattern all done. Looks awesome. And I actually probably spoke too soon about me trying to figure out how I'm gonna bring the shingles over. There should be no overlap actually where there's like a common seam. I'll probably just go all the way over, and then all of the end shingles are just gonna need cut. The only problem is I'm gonna have to be real careful that I don't want a shingle to end and then there only be like a 3-inch sliver left. I will have to cut several inches off of that shingle. That way I've got at least 6+ inches on the last shingle over there, so it doesn't blow off and fall off. So, but right now, here's where I've got all the way up to the top and wrapped over, and they're secured on the other side. So once the very top shingles get a chance to lay down and stick to the glue, when the sun hits them tomorrow, they should be locked in place. That way, because it's going to be a minute before I get the front trusses on, do the sheathing on the front, the ice and water shield and everything. So I would rather have them glued down on this side, draped over onto the other side, nailed down there too. And that way, again, they shouldn't blow over, and we really shouldn't have any water leakage at all because it's nailed on the other side with the ice and water shield. So it should remain 100% waterproof. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep trekking over here basically till I get back to the peak over here, or even at an angle, because I unfortunately will have to move the lift for safety, so I'm not standing up here doing work without the lift catching me or where the bucket is. I'm gonna have to transition over here, do that side of the porch, come along this way, and that way when I trek on up at that angle, up on that angle up in there, I'm gonna have to, the shingles are overlapping onto the other side, but they're not all the way secure yet. I'm waiting to reach the other ones underneath of it, and that way I'll nail them all down. So at some point when I get to the peak all the way up to there, which will probably be on the other side of the vent up there, then we'll go ahead and move the bucket over, come over on this way, and we should have this side of the house hopefully done today, maybe tomorrow too. I don't know, but instead of talking, I'm hopefully going to be able to set you guys up here on the peak because the sun won't burn the camera out, and you guys can see me work a little bit before we transition on over. Well, I tried to get the roof done in 2 days, and guys, at times I just got to tap out. Today in particular, it was probably 120 degrees up on the roof. Actually, I got my thermometer out and looked, and wearing this dark green shirt, just absorbing heat. I thought I was getting burned. But we got, I don't know how well you can see it. We might go up there and look, but we got all of the porch done. We got the top of the peak down there too. I just finished up getting all of the ridge cap and venting done up on the porch roof. And as you can see, we don't have too much more to go. It should go pretty fast. I'd say we're about halfway over here. So it should go pretty fast just to get the rest of that done. But I'm gonna have to get up early tomorrow at like 6 a.m. or something and get out here before the sun hits me, because it's just, it's not workable in these conditions. And then I know I said earlier in the video, it wouldn't stop raining. Well, now there ain't a cloud in the sky. It's 90 degrees out and you're standing on a 120 degree black roof. It's just absolutely unbearable. So Aaron and I went down into the basement. We started framing some interior walls that we'll show you guys in another video about that. And then yesterday I ran out a lot of time because my compressor decided to break. Haven't quite figured out what the problem was. At first, the pump was running and no air was getting down into the tank. So I took off this brass valve right here, and it's got like a little plunger inside of it. So air goes down into the tank and it's pushed down, and then it goes back up, and so the air can't escape. Well, it was stuck in the closed position. So once I freed that, I was probably stupidly using the wires here, not the switch, but the wires to actually just touch together to start it up, which of course creates a little sparks when you put two things together when you got a hot source like that. And now it will just run for 3 seconds and then it will shut off. So there's absolutely zero air in the tank. So a pressure switch or one of these, whatever these solenoids are or something, capacitors or something, may have fried out, because like I said, it'll only run for 3 seconds. If you let it sit for a minute, it'll turn on again. There's no computer board in there, so I don't know how it knows that I need to stay off for 25 seconds and then turn back on. But I was tired of messing with it, so had to go get another one. So that took some time. This guy, I don't think really is any different. They're about the same size. The only major difference is this actually has an engine on it with oil, so it gets very hot. I think it pretty much goes up to capacity about the same amount of time, but looking at this now here, that says 1.8 horsepower. That's only 1.5 or 1.6. They're both 150 psi max, but this one was just all electric and didn't require an oil change or anything. But I don't know, we'll figure out something. I'll put one in the garage, one in the shed if I get the other one working. But yeah, we'll get back at this again tomorrow, and hopefully there's no delays or issues, besides the fact that all of the shingles, again, we're sitting out at the lumber yard. They're completely soaking wet still, and you get a row on and then you just start to slip and it scares the crap out of you. But anyway, I'll see you guys back tomorrow, and wish me luck that we'll get this side completely done. And then I've got all week with this lift still, and unfortunately I may actually end up turning it in early, see if I can get some money back, because we don't have the siding yet to go up here and really work. I don't need it for the porch really, and I only need it for maybe an hour or two. That I don't know if you guys saw this laying on the ground, but 70 more panels of the cedar shake up there actually came in. They're all sitting in the garage, so I really just need to knock out that and finish that up there, and then we don't really need to lift anymore until we have to go get the big boy again. That's that orange one that I was using, because that's what I actually want to use with a big bucket. It's got the same lift capacity, but it doesn't reach, that one doesn't reach as far. But that's going to be needed to get these trusses up on here and set. And we'll just have to wait for another week that we actually can go ahead and set those. So I will see you guys back tomorrow. And again, wish me luck that I can get it done in a timely manner before that sun hits me and it's 900 degrees out. Well, 5:30 p.m. Day 3 or day 4 actually. The back of the house is completely done on the roof. But that is roughly about 1,700 square feet of roof done. So not bad when you're doing it in the middle of August. And I actually didn't use as many panels as I thought. I thought I was gonna waste at least 2 bundles on doing those valleys. But I did buy an extra bundle based on the calculation. So there is bundle 54 and 53, which is about 5 panels short. And actually there's more than 5 panels over here where I was cutting all of my pre-cuts, my 6, 12, 18, etc. And yeah, there's probably at least 2 full bundles left. So I was actually well under. So When I do the front of the house, it'll probably end up being the same thing. It won't be bad though to have at least one extra bundle in case there's any damage. Keep it in the shed, stored and stuff. Only problem that I hate over time is you do see shingles start to fade. So if you patch a roof, it totally looks off that they're not the same, even though they are the exact same shingle. However, doing the roof, actually a few things caught my eye. Number one, the sun really only gets probably, I don't know, maybe a little bit on that side of the peak overhead. So in the dead of summer, it's really never even directly overhead of the house. It's always more off to the south side. And then of course, come winter, the sun is all the way over in the southern sky. And a few things that I've noticed with that is all of those button caps that I had, they came like neon orange, and up, I want to say about halfway up the roof, they were all starting to turn white. But all of them down below, they were actually still not neon orange, but they were at least orange. So this sun really only beats on the house because of these trees. I want to say from maybe 11 o'clock on the east side till about 2 o'clock or so in the middle of summer, where it's already starting to fade away. So really you're only looking at 3 hours of total sunlight on like the peak of the roof. Well, maybe a little bit longer on the peak. But down along the bottoms, you're really only getting a few hours of sunlight each day. So that's drastically going to keep the shingles from not fading and hopefully last their full potential, like 20 or 30 years, because again, the sun just never hits it. So that is awesome. I am happy about that. And I just started noticing those button cap colors the other day, because crazy how fast the sun faded them. But it was definitely time to cover them up, because a lot of the nail heads were starting to rust. And if you even touch one of those button caps, they like shattered like glass. They're like no longer plastic. So yeah, that is it. We've got this side of the house completely done. I don't know what percentage that will be of the entire house, because the garage is obviously smaller, and then this front porch is going to be very big. But let's say we're at least 75% of the way done, which is a great feeling. So now we just need to figure out when we can get the big lift out here. Don't know if I'm going to have any help on it, but now that I know what I'm doing, I don't think it's too big of a deal to just go ahead and get some sort of rope and hook put on like the bucket lift. That way when I can like kind of hook the truss onto the hanging off of the bucket. That way when the bucket starts to pick up, it's just again sitting on like a big metal hook. Then when we set them up on the LVL and lower the bucket, all the weight will come off of the bucket, and then they'll be sitting down. And then I'll leave the bucket in place. I just have to figure out how I'm going to get from one side to the other and nail it down without moving the bucket, since that's going to be kind of like my sturdy kind of support, at least till I get the first one on. And then after the first one, we can just take a 2x4, attach it the first to the second, and then I can go to each side and nail them down to the LVL. So that'll probably be the game plan. So just got to call the renter place and see when I can get that out here. But I am going to take, I think, a few days off from working on the house, really knock out a few days at work and get that money, because COVID money is COVID money, and they pay us really well to be the flex staff to kind of pick up where the needs are. And in times like these, it helps us out a lot. I don't know if every other hospital out there does this, but it really does help us out when we get like incentive pay, and even they call it COVID pay, which is a lot more money per hour to really help the hospitals out and do what we do. So there you guys have it. Again, this side of the house is done. Next video, we will probably start getting on the gutters, or the special video that I've been telling you guys about that's been going on in the basement. We'll see when we can get that one out, but stay tuned for either one of those. It'll be the secret in the basement or the gutters on the house, and maybe the front of the house, and we'll go from there. So if you like this video as much as I do, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you guys aren't already, and turn the bell on so you get notified of future videos. And keep bringing in those personal messages to us to Instagram at NeckofTheWoods 2020. It's a little bit more personal than YouTube. So until then, guys, we'll see you next time.